Welcome back to another knitting lesson. Today, lesson 3 is basic knit stitch. So I've got my size 13 needles here, and I've got one stitch so far just slip knotted onto my needle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit cast on a couple stitches here. And if you don't remember how to do this, you can watch my previous video on how to do this. So I'll just put 5 stitches on here, just so we don't have too many to work with. It'll go by a little faster. All right, so I've got 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here is basic knit stitch. And if you watched my previous video on how to knit cast on, then it's going to seem very, very familiar to you. So we're going to go up through the first stitch so that the right hand needle is behind. We're going to bring our working yarn, wrap it around, and bring it in between. So now it's in front. We're going to take the tip of this needle, the one in the back, and we're going to bring it under the stitch that's on the left hand needle, like this. Now we're going to push the loop off of this needle. Push, and then we'll tighten with our working yarn. There you go, that's one stitch. So you go up, around, under, and then push it off of your left hand needle. So now we have 2 stitches. Up, around, down, off. Up, around, down, off. Up, around, down, off. So now I have no more stitches on my left side needle, and I have 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my right needle. So it's important if you're just beginning to knit to count your stitches at the end of every row to make sure that you didn't drop any or accidentally pick up or make a new stitch. Like if I had 6 here, then I'd want to rework that row so that I don't have an extra stitch. So when you're done with one row, now this needle becomes your left and your empty one becomes your right, and you're just going to do the same thing over again. So we're going to go into the top stitch here, in, around, down, push off, up, and we're just going to keep doing that 5 times, and then we get them off of the left needle and onto the right. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still have 5. So this is what your knitting is going to look like. It'll look really bumpy at first. It won't look like too much, and it'll be obviously a lot smaller if you're using thinner yarn or smaller needles. But it's going to be pretty bumpy. It's not going to have that nice flat edge that you get, or flat sides that you get when you do a different stitch called stockinette, which will be a few lessons from now. So I'll just do a couple more rows just to show you how it looks after you do a handful of rows. Let's see, I'm always making sure that I have 5 after every row. And whatever pattern you're following will tell you how many stitches you should have at the end of each row. So you should be able to keep track pretty easily. All right, so I've done a handful of rows here. So you'll see it's pretty bumpy on both sides. Should look the same. So this is also known as garter stitch, when you just knit every row back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And next lesson, lesson 4, we're going to learn how to purl, P-U-R-L, which is the other basic stitch in knitting. So your knit stitch and your purl stitch. So I hope that you found this helpful, and I look forward to teaching you another thing soon. Bye.